If you love talking about cats, but your friends and family are kind of over it, this is the podcast for you. Join your hosts, Danielle Stray Woolley and Elizabeth Calico Gearhart, on the Jersey PodCats, where everyday cat lovers share funny stories, challenging situations, and ask their questions about cats. All right, let's get right into this episode.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Woolley.
And I'm Elizabeth Gearhart, and we are the Jersey
PodCats.
And we are here to talk about Thor.
Yes. So a couple of things came up with Thor. One, when we did all the baseline blood work to go back because of the illnesses my other cats had, and I said, you know what, let me just get everyone checked. Thor's also gotten over 17 pounds. I think he was 17 pounds, 6 ounces last time I brought him. Or no, 17 pounds, 4 ounces last time I brought him to the vet. And then he just was not acting right. So, we were really focused on what was going on with Luffy. I had some health stuff that I was trying to get through. And then we started noticing, and actually, this goes back to we were talking about now that Luffy's gone, we know what signs we missed. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
So, like, every night Luffy used to jump on our bed and be like, hello, haha, like all the noises he made. And he would wake us up, drool over our hands, and then he would just bounce. So it's like, okay, yeah, hi to you. It's 3 a.m. Thanks so much for that. After he had passed, we noticed he hadn't done it in like a week or so. So that was like a sign. But Thor started to not do his routine. So I can trip over him all day long because he hears any noise. Like if normally, even on this recording right now, if I make this noise,
yeah,
he would come flying around the corner. Notice he's not flying around the corner right now. So from that, we were like, wait a minute, Thor's been disappearing. He's not coming out. And he kind of was like living under the bed in our guest room and not coming out at all. Until like maybe dinner time, he would come out, eat a little bit, but like not going as crazy as usual. So then, kind of mean of us, but I really can't live my life trying to coach cats out from underneath beds, especially because my joints aren't great. Like I can't kneel on the ground, can't grab him. And again, he's so heavy. But he just was not acting like himself. He was just like not running around, not looking for food. He normally cries randomly throughout the day playing with a toy that he drags around the house on a stick. He hadn't touched that in days. Like all of these things. And sometimes you don't notice until you talk to, like I was talking to my husband. He's like, yeah, I haven't seen him do that either. It's like, when's the last time you heard him randomly playing at 3 a.m.? And I was like, I don't think he's woken me up all week. I thought I was just sleeping really good. So looking out for little things like that when your cats are sick, but we couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. So even trying to like pick him up to get him into the carriage to take him to the vet, 'cause we told the vet he's just not acting right. He's not really eating and he loves food. And got him to the vet. He had 104.5 fever.
Oh.
And anything over 102.5, I told, is very scary for cats.
Well, and I've heard that cats will hide when they're sick.
And my cats always have, but he was like extra hiding. And I was like, I'm so sorry, buddy. Like, I didn't know you were sick. The other thing too is you get used to things. So every fall-ish, he always gets some kind of upper respiratory or throat infection where like his throat gets like all like scratchy and he winds up having to go on antibiotics. So I thought it could have just been that. The doctor ran tests, looked at his blood work, 'cause I'd already gotten it, and his blood work came back perfect. So this is the bizarre
that's
part.
weird.
So he just had his blood work done and it was perfect. So now the only thing he had done was he got his updated 3-in-1 vaccine, the FBRCP. I'm butchering this, so pets don't roll your eyes at me. I've only been doing this for years and I still don't have them all memorized. So I thought, like, for me, sometimes after I get stuff, I feel sick after. But literally the doctor was like, every once in a while, we just don't know. She's like, I'm ruling this as unknown cause. She has no idea, unknown origin of fever.
Did she give him antibiotics then?
So he got a convenient shot of antibiotics.
Okay.
He still wasn't eating. And when I tell you, like, they're like, just make sure he eats and drinks. I'm like, you have no idea how not easy that is with him. So we had to take apart the bed. We took the whole bed off because I was like, I can't.
Oh no.
So I had Brian take the whole thing apart. So the mattress and the box spring are now on the floor. So that started to upset him too, because that's his safe space. I felt terrible taking a safe space away, but I had to, because how else am I going to make sure he eats and stuff? Another tip, so when your cat gets sick, because they said like you didn't notice he wasn't eating, and I was like, dude, I'm feeding 3 cats at a time. He's usually the one who eats it all. I've
Mhm.
never had to look before. So another tip is we put him in our guest room and kept him secluded, which I felt bad about. But this way we can monitor how much is he eating, how much is he drinking. I put a camera in there, not to sound like a
Mhm.
psychopath, but I just kept checking because I was scared to death. I now lost 3 cats over the last however many years to unknown
Mhm.
issues. Um, and then we also gave him gravy tubes, which we actually have some here because I'll tell you why in a minute.
Yeah.
But like that was the only thing we can get him eat. He like wouldn't trust
Mm.
food. So I don't know if you notice this, but when cats are in antibiotics, they want nothing to do with food because they can't taste or smell. So they're scared. They don't trust it. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that. But I will tell you that I know if my cats are individually eating, and it's a really bad reason why. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because they each get fed in a different spot, which is kind of
That's
in
actually a good idea.
the middle of the floor though, like right in
Hmm.
where you would walk between the kitchen and the family room so
Hmm.
Lily gets fed like just under the dining room table, and Max gets fed where the cat food is supposed to be, like kind of in the hallway to our butler's pantry. And then Kushi likes to go sit behind the sofa in the family room, and he likes to get fed there. So, and sometimes he'll jump on up on the counter and he'll get fed there. And
So they're
so
not spoiled at all.
no, no, not at all. So I can usually tell, but I did not know that about antibiotics. But I know for him, he was still kind of trying to eat when I was giving him that antibiotic for
Hmm.
his Bartonella, but he was just throwing up all the time. So
Yeah,
antibiotics are terrible for
he
cats.
wouldn't eat. And then the other part and the reason why I got so scared is because I mentioned before that he was 17 pounds 4 ounces on the earlier episode. And that day, which was less than 2 weeks after he had just had his annual appointment, he was dropped to 16 pounds.
Wow, that's a
So it was
lot in
like,
a
oh my
cat.
gosh, my baby, I didn't notice you weren't eating. I'm so sorry. So, I mean, we couldn't get him to eat anything. So he got to the point where he wasn't trusting us because every time we'd pick him up, we had to bring him to the vet. So if you heard a couple episodes ago too, this little butt face, that's what I'm going to call him, ate the piece of plastic that got jammed in his throat. So he went for his annual
Yeah.
appointment. He got blood work done. He had to went back again because the plastic was stuck in his throat. And like my cats don't leave the house at all. Like I opened the door. I used to joke that Loki would run to it. I opened the
Yeah.
door, they all run away. Like they want
Yeah.
nothing to do with leaving the house. So he's not trusting us right now at all. So we finally confirmed he was going to the bathroom. I had a really fun time learning how to check cats' temperature. You want to guess how to do it?
Yes.
You stick a thermometer up their hiney hole. That's
Oh,
how you check
I've
their
seen the
temperature.
vet do that. I did have one vet say if their ears feel hot, they may have a
Hmm.
fever.
Yeah, but he's a
A
big
long
boy.
time
He
ago.
always feels hot to me.
Yeah.
Like he's like a heater to me.
How did you get a thermometer up his rear?
That's why he's hiding from us. So,
I was gonna say
I
I've never
went to
done
the
that.
store and just bought like a separate one, and I got the little plastic covers that go on it. I used Vaseline, like I know this is gross, but like I didn't know these things. Like I've had cats for how long, and I've never had to do this. So then we would just distract him with a gravy tube, make him eat some, and then just did it. But the one temperature read very low, which the vet told me it's because if you just kind of put it in, it could
Mhm.
be like in a gassy area or like it's not touching. So I'm sorry, I can't even. You see my face cringing as I'm saying this if you're on YouTube. But like I didn't know these things, so I want to share them. But she said I wasn't really checking his temperature, so she said to put it in
Oh.
and like make sure it's pressed up against something a little bit.
Mm.
So yeah, I have no idea why my cat's hiding from me, but his temperature did
'Cause
come back
everybody loves
down.
that. It did come back down
Yeah, it
with
did come
it.
back down, and so it confirmed he started eating a little bit, but he wouldn't eat in front of me. So I would put the
Oh.
food down and put it, and he would just go like this. Or if he was looking at me, he was like the day I adopted him, he was looking straight through me, and I felt awful. I'm like, buddy, I'm doing this because I love you. And so my husband and I took turns going in and out. And so I would put a little bit of food. He wasn't even eating his favorite treats anymore. I got different treats. I
Mm.
even got different food.
Mm.
And then finally I would leave it in front of him and leave and then like crack the door open and he'd like be eating it and I would like you see it fall out of his mouth like I wasn't eating it. And I'm like, oh thank God he's getting better. But he won't eat in front of us.
Oh, that is so funny.
So tired, so exhausting. But now he's come out because we keep picking him up and pulling him out. I can't pick him up
Mhm.
anymore. I did it once and I hurt myself. My husband has to do it.
Yeah.
Um, but he'll come out for a little bit, and as soon as he thinks there's any sort of danger of like being picked up, he goes right back to the closet again. So we're just working on him a little bit at a time. And I know I'm laughing and it's not funny, but at least he's getting better. And we're going away next week, so I think he'll have the house to himself. It'll be great. But now we moved the camera to spy on him, and it's
Oh,
actually
good.
called the Thor spy cam. And it's actually on the floor right here because it's pointed so I could see, because he's in my bedroom closet, where he goes upstairs and where he goes downstairs. And you just see footage. It's cute.
Yeah.
First of all, you saw footage of Tony because it has like flashing lights on it and he's obsessed with pointers. So you just see him like up close in the camera, like, what's going on here? But thankfully, we thought he wasn't coming out. He is. He's just only coming out in the middle of the night when we're dead asleep.
Yeah, well, I want to get a camera for my room because when I wake up in the morning, all 3 cats are there. And it's like, oh, you guys are so great. But I found out that when Richard gets up really early in the morning, they go downstairs with him and play around and everything. And then they come back up when they know I'm about to wake up.
And then they fake it like, oh, round 2 breakfast.
Yeah, they fake it like, oh, we've been here the whole night taking care of you. And really, but
Aw.
yeah, but the whole food thing is so weird because
Mhm.
Lily, so we got Lily at 6 months old. She had been a stray down in Atlanta. Beautiful, beautiful cat. She'd had a litter of kittens. She'd just gotten fixed. I think they fixed her that day that we adopted her because she
Yeah,
was really
some
out of
places do
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went up to a pet store where they were hosting a shelter that came. So we got her and oh gosh, she's such a pretty cat. But she has always done this little dance when I try to feed her, like, I'll give her the food and she'll back up and she'll kinda dance backwards, and then I have to go away from the food for her to eat it.
Yeah. My stray does that outside.
Except for now with the, like, treats, if I give her a few treats from my hand, I can pet her head, like, give her the treats and then just move my hand up over her head, but,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just they're so funny around food. I don't know what
Yeah,
it
they're
is.
so annoying right now. But so that's my story on Thor. And then the food that we did wind up getting is because of blood work results. They came back from one of the other cats, Derek. So we'll talk about that in a future episode too.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. There's a
We
lot of
really
health
do.
health issues going on with these cats here.
I know. I was like, I don't have time for this. And I was like, well, maybe I do because it's for the podcast. So why not?
There you go.
Anywho, well, thank you guys for listening. We would love to hear your stories too. So if you've got weird stuff going on with your cats, mental or physical health related, let us know. Listen to us at the Jersey PodCats on your favorite platform for listening to podcasts. So it says, got this. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. Give this podcast a rating so other cat lovers can find it. Connect with the Jersey PodCats on social media or visit thejerseypodcats.com and leave a message sharing a story or question about cats. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode.